There are a lot of very interesting things that have already taken place in this election that even smart people have not yet figured out. Indeed, for students of politics like myself, this is going to be one election that we can study for a very long time to come. Okay? But anyway, let us dwell on what we already know. And let's see if there are any lessons we can learn from these elections. Now, you'll have to agree with me that Jubilee had an advantage. And I'm not talking about the incumbency. I'm talking about the fact that they were able to predict the future. They knew what was going to happen. The rest of us didn't know. So they put their plans in place very intricately and they played their cards very well. Of course, I'm talking about the international observers. Okay? They worked the international observers very well. They showed them the right things they were supposed to see. They told them the right things, blah, 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 blah. And the international observers gave our election a clean bill of health. Yeah? In fact, they went beyond that. They praised it. They said this was a model election. This was a great election. The observers were very well-known international figures. John Kerry is very well-known. Thabo Mbeki, the former president of South Africa, those are very well-known guys. What was the purpose of this? Well, now we know. The purpose of this is that in case the opposition felt disgruntled, let me rephrase that. They knew the opposition were going to be very disgruntled. And they knew that one of the avenues the oppositions would seek is international support, international sympathy. So they shut that door using this, shall I call it a game shot move? Yeah. So what happens after the elections? Raila Odinga has all this pressure. Concede defeat, concede for the sake of peace, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's what happened. Beautiful move by Jubilee. The extremely smart people within Jubilee also knew that it was very easy kuingiza hao diplomats kwa box. Yeah? Why? Because everybody remembers what happened in 2007. The international community was in shock in 2007. Yeah? They could not believe. Yeah? The kind of bloodletting that went on in Kenya was just numb shocking to them. Okay? In their wildest nightmare, they did not want anything like that to happen. Yeah, and if the Jubilee knew very well that if anything, they would push Raila to step down, to concede defeat, relax, if only to just avoid what happened in 2007. Of course, the international community is not aware that one of the communities which caused the most damage in those elections is on the right side this time. It's in Jubilee. Yeah, they didn't know that, and many of them still don't know that. Which means that whatever happens, the kind of bloodletting that went down in 2007 is very unlikely that we would ever have gotten there. Okay, no matter what the situation. They're also still not aware that so far there's a very huge difference between 2007 and 2017 in terms of the post-election violence. In 2007, we had communities versus this community versus this community. Okay, in 2017, all the violence, has been against the people, by our security forces. Oops, let me rephrase that. All the violence has been from persons unknown against the people. You'll excuse my borrowing that phrase from, our police people, our police spokesman, and our security people. Very creative statement, And it's good to be creative. Yeah, so all the violence has been meted out by persons unknown against the people. There's been no intertribal, there's been no tribal war at all. And in all likelihood, that is a very unlikely scenario. Because what has happened is that the security forces have set themselves up against the people. Now, this is very sad, but I think you've noticed. Recently, there was an accident involving some GSC officers, somewhere in Western Kenya. And if you saw the comments on social media, you'd know definitely Kenyans don't have a lot of love lost for security personnel. There was no love affair before, but now you can see there's just open hatred. People are making funny comments like, oh, only this small number died. More should have died in the accident. Like comments like that. Yeah. So all the venom is against the security chaps. I don't think people have time to have venom against each other. I don't see that happening. Yeah, I could be wrong, but that's how I read the situation. Anyway, back to the Jubilee strategy. There's a saying to the effect that be smart, but don't be too smart. Okay, really what it means is that it's good to be clever, But don't be clever to the extent where you completely underestimate your opponents, yeah? Where you assume that all your moves are so smart, so game shot, there'll be no answer to, to your moves, yeah? And this is precisely what has happened with the diplomat situation, yeah? With the observers, election observers. Now, when the election observers gave their clean bill of health, what has happened? They went back to their respective countries only for them to start hearing news of problems in Kenya, yeah? And recently, John Kerry, well, I know he's been online, yeah? Tweeted something, and the response he received is very instructive, okay? Well, one thing Jubilee forgot is that Kenyans are very intelligent, and Kenyans are very patriotic, especially the Kenyans in the diaspora, yeah? So John Kerry got quite a response from Kenyans, disgusted at him giving the fraudulent election a clean bill of health, yeah? Now, what effect has that had? The effect that has had is to attract the attention of the international community to the fraud. The observers like Bwana Kerry are very busy defending themselves of how they were right, etc. You know, it's human. No human likes to say they were wrong, yeah? So he is very busy trying to defend himself. And that is perfect for news organizations, because now he makes himself vulnerable to be hit back at. But even more important for Kenya, it attracts the right attention to Kenya's fraudulent election. So Jubilee were too smart. By inviting the international observers, they set themselves up for a huge backlash, yeah? A backlash in the sense that the international community's attention would actually be attracted more to the Kenyan fraudulent election than it would have been without the international observers being brought here and wined and dined and misled. Yeah, get my drift? Yeah, it is okay to be smart, but don't be too smart. That's what that saying means. So let's look at what this is going to have, the effect this is going to have, especially as we wait for the statement by the leader of the opposition and NASA as a whole in the next few hours, actually any minute now, yeah? As we wait for, well, any minute now depending on what time you listen to this recording, but I'm guessing most of you will be listening to it early morning, early Wednesday morning, so anytime now we should expect a statement from NASA. Now, how will this help NASA? It will help NASA because the international community are all ears. They want the details of the fraud, yeah? Well, I could be wrong, but let's watch and see how it unfolds. Now, there's something else very dangerous that could easily trip up Jubilee in this game of politics, yeah? Because I'm just trying to analyze this very coldly, no emotion, yeah? From a political sense of view, yeah? Now, there's one more thing very deadly that could trip up Jubilee, and this is something called arrogance. It is very clear in the fiddling of the elections that what happened was that orders were being given, instructions. Yeah, you do that, we'll clean up later. You do that, we'll clean up later. Why am I saying this? Because of the infamous, I'm sure you're sick of hearing this statement. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about Form 34s, yeah? But there are key issue here, yeah? Okay? Looking from the outside, it seems that all the instructions were, oh, you do this, do that, we'll clean up later, concerning the Form 34s. Now, this seems to have come back to haunt Jubilee. It's like robbing a bank and you put all your concentration on how you're going to get into the safe, get all the money out, blah, blah, blah. But you've not quite paid a lot of attention on the getaway car and how you're going to get away from the scene clean, okay? Now, I'll not repeat myself about the boring Form 34s. So I'll try and summarize it as quickly as possible. To make Form 34Bs, you need Form 34As. Okay, the IEBC says they have all the 34Bs, yeah, which are fewer because the constituencies are fewer, yeah. Now the Form 34As, that's a nightmare. Over 40,000 of them because it's every single polling station. Now the IEBC says they have some of the Form 34As, but not all of them, yeah. But they have all the Form 34Bs. What? Now hold on a minute. To create the Form 34Bs, you need Form 34As, right? So how can you have all the Form 34Bs and you don't have some Form 34As? How? Folks, without sounding arrogant, there can only be one conclusion. It means actually only one thing. Actually, two things. One is ridiculous and one is only the most likely, okay? It means that it's possible that you lost the Form 34As. What happened is that you received the Form 34As, you filled in your Form 34B, and then you misplaced the Form 34As. They got lost somewhere. Or it could mean what some people have been, Kenyans are very creative and they're smart, what somebody has been calling reverse engineering. That is, you create the Form 34Bs and then you work backwards. You sort out the Form 34As to support the Form 34Bs that you've already created neatly so that your sums add up. So without looking at the forms, the conclusion is very obvious. It means that even without looking at those 34Bs, it means that the 34Bs, which the IBC are ready to give out immediately, they support their sums. Okay? But now the Form 34As, hapo ndo kasheshe iko. And they're missing. They're not there. IBC need time to get them. From where? To try and look for them, or to try and retrieve them from somewhere, or maybe to try and cook them. I don't know. I'll not speculate. Yeah, but they say they need time. Jijazie mwenyewe. Folks, that is the clean, fair election. A lot of people I've seen coming on TV and all over the place say, oh, this election was very clean, very fair. The observers were here, they gave it a clean bill of health, therefore it was very fair, it was very clean. There's nothing wrong with the election. Raila is just a loser, he loses all the time, he can't accept defeat. Why doesn't he concede? Why doesn't he retire? Blah, 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 blah. But folks, the chickens have come home to roost. All indications are that Raila Odinga is going to make history. And he's going to make history by managing to get an election, yeah, which has already been done, the winner announced, everything done. He's going to manage to get that election overturned. Those are the indications. And if Raila Odinga manages to pull off that, he will have made history. Not only in Kenya, definitely in the whole of Africa. And I'm not very familiar with world history, but I've never heard of anything like this anywhere else in the world. Yeah? What is a very high possibility, because the Form 34As are missing, and you need those to make 34Bs, and 34Bs are the only one in existence. But to lose the ball, this is Kenya. And the people we're dealing with, because you see, when you hear something called the government of Kenya, don't joke around with the government of Kenya. It has resources, it has many things. They can always pull a rabbit out of the hat. And I suspect there's a very huge chance, because last night, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people didn't sleep. And the possibilities are very high that they'll pull a rabbit out of the hat. And if they do that, Raila will not have made history. Okay, at least in the sense that I was talking about here. But if they do, if they fail to, then Raila will have made history. Well, we will find out that in a few minutes, in a few hours. Definitely we're going to find out that. Okay, and this is what is getting to be very interesting and very exciting about our elections. If we remove the bloodshed and the poor people gotten killed for nothing, yeah, this would be an interesting thing to analyze. But those killings still leave a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, the brutal killings of Chris Kumekucha, yeah, the brutal killing of a toddler, the brutal killing of girls, young girls, one 15 years old, Nelgeyo Marakwet, the other one barely 8-9 years old in Madare. Those ones leave a bad taste in my mouth. Okay, but let's wait and see what happens. As always, I'll be here analyzing it all for you. I hope you've enjoyed this analysis. I hope it's brought some clarity to you, so that whatever whatever elaborate, complex presentation NASA and Raila make, will be in a better position to understand it all. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.